Hello and welcome to this tutorial from Tropical Coast Web Design. In this tutorial we're going to be looking at how you modify the slideshow images that are part of your front page slider. As you can see, I've already logged into the dashboard, and to get into our slideshow, come over to the main menu on the left here and we're going to click on Smart Slider. And this brings up the slideshows that we have in this particular website. Now on this website we've only got the one, so we're going to go over here, Homepage Slider, click on the green edit button, and this brings up that particular slideshow. It's made up of 3 slides at the moment, and what we're going to do is we're going to add a 4th one, and we're going to modify it to contain new information for that front page slideshow. The easiest way to add a new slide, rather than building it from scratch, is to go over one of your existing slides and choose this one. I'm just floating my mouse over the top of the box at the moment, and you'll see a little 3 dotted icon come up in the right hand corner. Click on that and choose duplicate. And now you'll see I've got 2 of the same slide here. We're going to edit this one. Obviously, to go in, we're going to click on edit, and this is the slide image that appears in the slideshow at the moment. Let's start from the back and work our way forward, and the easiest way to give a slide a different look is to put a different background on it. And the background is contained behind all the little bits in the front. So we've got 3 images, this text and a button. It's actually hidden up here under slide. Click on the blue slide box and we have this little options box that pops up over the top. Now to change the overall background, in this case this big green splash that's behind everything, we simply go to the plus button here. This brings up our media library, and we can choose something different in here to display. So I've got backgrounds already in the media library. If you would like to add your own background, just go to upload files and choose a background. Now just remember, the background should be big enough to cover an entire screen. If I click on this background here, look over to the side here where the details are, and it'll tell me that this background itself is 1920 pixels by 960 pixels high, so it's big enough to cover an entire screen. So let's select that. The other thing you can do with your background, you can choose a focal point. Now the focal point's important on screens that are smaller than your desktop, so for example your tablet screens or your smartphone screens, because the screen obviously gets smaller in scale. It's not as many pixels wide and not as many pixels high. So you can grab this little green dot here in the options panel and move it around, and you'll see the background moves. Now that's important. I leave it in the middle for the desktop. That's important because as the screen gets smaller, this green dot, wherever you put it, is the focal point, and that will remain in the middle of whatever screen that you're picking. So that in the middle of your smartphone screen or in the middle of your tablet screen. On the desktop, not so important, but just remember it's important as your screens get smaller. You've got to think forward and think about what's going to appear on all screen types. A lot of your traffic is going to be coming through smartphones, so think about that one especially. Okay, so I've put a new background on the back, and to change these images, it's simply a case of clicking on them and you'll get a different options panel over here. Same thing as we did with the background. Go and choose a different image. Once again, you can choose from your media library. So let's do this one here. And pop that in, and you'll see it swapped over the image there. Actually, I would prefer that image to be over here, so let's do that again. I'm going to click on the big image here. Let's put that image there. And I'll choose a different image of the same dress for over here. Here we go. So you can see it's just a matter of clicking, coming to your options panel. And remember, at any stage you can go up here and click on upload files. And there you go, we've got 1, 2, 3 different images, different background, and now it's time to change the text. Same thing again. Click on the option you want to change, go to the options panel, and in this case we simply change what the text is by typing it in. Now, as you can see here, I've made a line there that's too long for the box that it's currently in. Now I've got a couple of options here. I can remove the padding from around that box so it can make it one line again. And this is done by, if you see how I'm floating over the very edges of that column, I've got those little grey bars coming up. Now I can click on those and make them smaller, just by dragging them out with my mouse. Still not making it small enough. So my other option is to come over here to my options panel, and you'll see in the middle an icon that says style. This is all the information about that particular piece of text. So to make it smaller, I can come down here to the size, and I can use this little slider to drop it down a couple of pixels, and you'll see it now fits. Other things you can do in the style panel is you can change the font, you can change the color, you can add drop shadows. There's a whole range of options in there to play around with. But if you're just modifying, or duplicating I should say, a slide like I'm doing here, you can just change the font size here and we fit again. Look at all the options panels. We can click on our images now. We can look through the sizes we've got in here. In this particular website, we've got a rotation on the image. You see it's slightly spun off center. And that's done by clicking on the image, going to the style icon and heading down to rotation. I've got it at 10 degrees rotation at the moment. We type it in at 30, it goes a little bit more extreme. If it's a 0, obviously, it's straight up and down. So there's a rotation option there just to make things a little bit more interesting on your particular website. Now we've changed everything we want to do in there. The final thing we need to do is come up to the right hand corner, click on save, and we're saving that slideshow into the main part. We go back to homepage slider here in the top left, and you'll see that we've got our 4 slides here. This one hasn't changed yet, and that's because I didn't show you how to change the thumbnail that appears here. And it's probably a good idea so you don't think, oh, this slide and that slide are exactly the same. So we'll go back in and edit that slide again. And that information is actually underneath the first place we went to, which was this main slide button at the top, the blue one. Click on that. We go into content, and we give the slide a unique title to the one that we duplicate it from. Let's call it shirts and shorts. And what I've been doing here in the thumbnail section is I've just been loading the background up so you know what color it is, but I'll do something different this time. Let's choose the image that we used as the main slide. Click on that. Let's save that again. And when we get back to the main slider screen, by clicking on home page slider up here, we'll see that we've got a different image and a different title to differentiate amongst the different slides that you've got up there. And that's the way that we update our slideshow. You can build your own sliders from scratch, but I'll be covering that in a future tutorial. Thank you.